Our parish has been celebrating 150 years. We, sisters of the presentation here, are closely linked with that big celebration that's happening today and that's happening this year, because we donated the site and the land on which this magnificent building has been built.
As we commemorate 150 years of our parish church, Tá fáilte gus fáilte roimh go léir. It is a very historic location for the parish, remembering all who planned and built this church and subscribed so generously to its building and maintained it over the years with a number of renovations.
We're here in St. Patrick's Church, marking part of the celebrations of the 150th anniversary of our church. Back in November, we decided to mark the church with different events. So we decided that we would research some of the history of the church and look up some newspaper accounts. Thankfully, the opening of the church was in 1861 was covered in the Cork Examiner, and down through the years a lot of the events in the church have been covered. And we invited people to send in some photographs and any old articles that they had on the church itself. And we decided that we would give guided tours of the church twice in the day, and that we would have a lecture in the evening entitled Hard Times, Bandon 1861 by a local historian, Michael Gallivan. And we decided to display some of the old vestments that were in the church no longer in use. Fortunately, we have as well some of the original drawings of the church. Two of them have survived and they are on display. And we have an old timber crucifix from Gallows Hill Church, which was brought here in 1861 as well.
Very historic week in the life of our parish as we celebrate the 150th anniversary of St. Patrick's Church. The present parish of Bandon was formed on the 4th of May 1817. It consists of the old parishes of Kilbrogan, which is north of the River Bandon, and Ballymoden, south of the river, and part of the old parish of Desert Surges, west of the parish.
We remember especially Canon Jeremiah O'Brien, who built the church here. He came to Bandon in 1853, and he saw that the old church at Gallows Hill was in a poor condition, and he felt a new church should be built here. Now he set about with passion to build the church because it was a huge undertaking. He hired an English Catholic architect, George Goldie, who did a lot of work in England and Ireland building churches. When he laid the foundation stone on Patrick's Day, 1856, a huge crowd assembled here for the occasion, and it must have been a wonderful occasion. Bishop Delaney, who was a native of the parish, was Bishop of Cork at the time, he came and laid the foundation stone. Afterwards, then the building continued for about 6 years until it was opened in June the 9th, 1861. Now, Canon O'Brien was a native, we believe, of Dunmanway. He spent 25 years here, and he died in 1878, and he's buried here within the church itself. The day of his funeral, after the Requiem Mass, the funeral cortege left the church and went right around the town because they had such respect for him.
The Presentation Sisters came here in 1829. It was the first Catholic school for girls in Bandon, and hundreds flocked up here, and in this very building they were taught and instructed and prepared for the sacraments. We're not actively engaged in teaching at the moment. There are 15 of us here. I'm one of the 15. We're not actively engaged in teaching, but we support and we pray for the wonderful dedicated lay staff that we have working in our schools. On the left-hand side of our building out here, it is a Georgian building. This is a Georgian building. And on the left-hand side here is our church, our chapel, built in 1858. It was built on the north side of the town, of course, and it was very useful for all the people up here in Convent Hill or on the north side who loved to come to our chapel on Sunday to worship.
The church itself, the outside of the church has not changed over the years. It's just as it was on the first day. Lovely limestone dressings in the window and kind of nice soft yellow sandstone in the building itself. And we can see here in the church the beautiful pointed arches in the church itself. All his windows were designed by him, lovely tracery in them, all different. And on the roof of the church, very high pitched roof, and he believed that the higher the church, it was kind of near to heaven, near to God. Now, at the time the tower was not completed, the base of the tower was there, and it was completed in 1920. And the bell was presented in 1895 by James Murphy of Murphy's Brewery, and and it was then reinstalled in the church afterwards.